believe we are in running. Yeah, there we go. Let me make sure I mute this side. All right, perfect. All right. Hello, 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 and welcome everyone to Midweek Mindset. My name is Michelle Anantua, co-owner of Harmony's Divine Design, where I work alongside the amazing T Weaver. At Harmony's Divine Design, we work with new and seasoned entrepreneurs, helping you guys get out of that stuck place. So we do that by offering one-on-one business coaching, online classes, and products and services to help streamline your workflow. And of course, my amazing co-host for Midweek Mindset, Miss Kimberly J.
Hey, thank you, Michelle. All right, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kimberly James, and I am the owner of Josie May, and my clients pay me to bring their vision to life. I empower them through creativity, mindset transformation, and personal growth by offering digital and physical products that reflect our unique style, craft workshops to spark your creativity, 30-day challenges to expand your mind, and one-on-one coaching to help you achieve your goals.
Awesome, awesome. So, if this is your first time joining us for Midweek Mindset, welcome. And just to give you a little rundown, every month, Kim and I just choose a topic that we're going to discuss. In this month's topic, we have been talking about owning your worth around unworthy people. So, as I was getting this presentation together today, number one, I can't believe we're in the third week of September. Like, that for me was just the eye opener. But overall, the conversation has been really engaging and really eye opening in regards to identifying the differences between those that are energy drainers versus those that are value builders in your life. And a lot of times, we have to utilize our discernment when it comes to interacting with certain individuals, be it friends, family, colleagues, etc. So I have a quick presentation for everybody, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and we can get started. Right? Can you see my screen okay?
It's loading.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect. So let me go ahead and do this, and we can dive right in. Alrighty. So again, we are talking about owning your worth around unworthy people. And the theme for today is setting boundaries without guilt. So I have a quick question for you, Kim. Have you experienced a time where you set a boundary, but that guilt feeling kind of crept in after you said it?
Yes, ma'am. Yep. And it's normally with not just anybody. It would have to be with someone that's closer to me for the guilt to creep in. So my mother. She
Gotcha.
overstep. um, yeah, just recently this week, she wanted to go away for her birthday. Her birthday is this coming up Wednesday, this coming up weekend. But it was a last minute thing. I'm like, Mom.
Gotcha.
And she just kept on. Well, we can do this. And I'm like, Mom, I cannot go. So, she kept saying, well, oh, I can take care of this and I can take care. I'm like, Mom, I cannot go, and
Mhm.
as bad as I felt about not being able to do what she wanted to do, I knew it was not in my best interest. One, financially, last minute trips don't work for me right now.
Mhm.
I have too much on my plate to take off 4 days,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
to go, on a vacation. So I'm like, if this was something that was planned, I can structure my day a little bit different. So I did feel bad, but I am planning something special for her birthday. So yes, I did have a moment of guilt,
Gotcha.
but
Gotcha.
there was a reason why I had to say no.
And you know what? And I'm so glad you said that because many times, um, a lot of us, we do feel that twinge of guilt when we have to decline,
Mhm.
right? But as you said, you had your reasons. So you had your purpose as to why
Mhm.
it's a no right now. But obviously it's mama. So she knows she gonna get a yes eventually.
She will get, yes, she no, and that's harder because I normally don't say no.
Mm,
That's when the guilt, I'm like, this is your mother, you can't say no. But, it that's when the guilt. For anybody else, not so much. But mama, yeah.
Mama's got a way of doing that.
Yeah.
Mama's got a way of doing that. Thanks for that. All right. So quick recap. So, the first week we discussed recognizing energy drainers and value builders within our lives. And this was assisting us in being able to identify who is genuinely in our corners, versus who is draining you. So, one thing that I like to point out in a way to help identify these, if you are around particular people, right? And before you go around them, you have to prep yourself, you have to pump yourself up. You get instantly tired being in their presence. You might even get a headache. Or in some cases, if the energy is tangible enough, your energy and your mood may fluctuate completely just being around those individuals and not necessarily for the better. So, those are what you would classify as energy drainers. Now, value builders are those individuals that are genuinely showing up for you, showing up in your corner. They're the ones that pretty much fuss at you when you don't take care of yourself the right way. These are the individuals that want to make sure you're good. They're checking in. They're looking for ways that, they could help and pretty much expand the relationship rather than having a teeter totter. So, the first journal prompt that we have, just as a reflection, is who makes me feel smaller versus expansive? So you don't have to answer that right now, but it's a question to keep in the back of your mind. Just do one of the things that we mentioned during this month is doing an audit. I was noting that I was around someone that says they do a friend audit. So what does that look like? Well, if the friendship is getting kind of stale, kind of stagnant, it's not really serving either of you, it might be time to just put a pause to it or call it quits versus someone that, hey, listen, rain, snow, sleet, hail, they're like the USPS people. They there for you no matter what the season or the reason. They are genuinely there for you. So with this journal prompt, just take a minute and just do a little quick audit on and be present with your thoughts and how you're feeling. Okay. So for week two, we started the discussion about boundaries, right? Week two, we really started diving into what they look like. Um, and talking about how we stop looking for external validation, meaning we stop looking for others' approval. We stop looking to meet other people's expectations of who we should be, what we should do, how we should act. And we started anchoring ourselves in our own inner truths, you know, saying, hey, listen, this is me. I am valuable when I show up in any room that I stand in. I stand on me, I stand on what I believe in, and I'm firm in it. So, a power affirmation is my worth is not up for debate. It's my birthright. And that was the affirmation that we used for week two to really declare that, hey, listen, I am worthy of chasing my dreams. I am worthy of going after the goals and the beliefs that I have to better empower me and uplift me. All right. So, we also talks about reframing three negative external opinions and taking that negative energy and turning it into a positive. All right. So a lot of times when we start hearing that inner critic, um, I know me personally, I'm very good at saying, okay, listen, you're gonna have to be quiet because I'm not dealing with that negative Nancy voice in my head right now. And I literally work to say, okay, how can I reframe that dialogue of like, well, you might hear something along the line, well, you're not good enough. Nobody's going to want it. I reframe it by like, listen, people are beating down my door for my services. What are you talking about? you know, these are, and some people might think it's a little delusional to think that, but no, you're really manifesting and bringing that energy to you. If you're constantly in a negative state about your own self, we don't necessarily realize that we radiate that
Mhm.
energy. We might put on our mask to cover it up, but people that are intuitive, empathetic, that we can see it, we can feel it, we know it, right? So let's start changing those negative opinions and mindsets that we have of ourselves into something empowering and uplifting to help us continue on our journey. So, why does week 3 matter? Well, we're going to start identifying some energy patterns. We realized what externally drains us, what externally takes us out of ourselves. But now, what tools can we put in place to help pretty much negate that energy from coming in? All right. Week 2, we talked about anchoring our worth, like I just mentioned. We're going to stop worrying about other people's opinions and other people's discernment on how we should act. Be your authentic, true self. In order for you to excel, you have to show up as you, not as the idea of how your mama should say you should act, your daddy, your auntie, your uncles, colleagues. No. Who are you? Show up as you. All right. So, in order to get all these things in motion, we're going to be talking about putting up some boundaries. And a lot of times when people hear the word boundaries, they kind of get a little standoffish. But really and truly, think of it as I like to think of boundaries as our flotation device, right? When you're in deep waters, unless you're an Olympian or a fantastic swimmer, it's going to get a little tiresome after a while of you constantly doing the strokes. When you have a flotation device, even if you're still doing the strokes with your flotation device, you can take a minute to break, to rest. Your boundaries are put in place to help protect your peace, your energy, and your focus, to make sure that you're staying on your mission and your path. Okay. So, the power of boundaries. We're going to go ahead and we're going to reframe everything, right? We're not accepting um I like to call it limited behavior, meaning I'm not taking partial payments of your attention. I'm not taking partial payments of your respect. I'm not taking partial payments of feeling that I deserve my place. We're not doing that. But, and a lot of times when we hear the word boundaries, we instantly think of, we're putting up a wall. We're like, no, it's completely blocked. That's not a boundary. A boundary is literally understanding what it is that makes you uncomfortable and you making a choice and an agreement within yourself, either to accept or not accept that behavior. Okay. It's a very yes or no type of situation. All right. And I want you guys to understand that there is so much power in your no. And as Kim stated, and I'm so glad she used her mom as an example, there are times when family can come in and, oh, well, you could, or you should, or you would, or this, or that. And it's like, no. And as Kim stated, there was reasons behind her no. Just like with you, there are reasons behind your no. For me, it could be as simple as maybe my finances aren't there. Maybe I don't have the time to do it, or maybe really and truly, I just genuinely don't want to entertain it. Right? A lot of times we make ourselves feel guilty, like, oh, well, we have to go because it's so and so, or we have to do this because it's such and you don't have to do anything, right? So when you sit up there and anytime you get that begrudging feeling and you're just like, no, I really don't, I'm tired, I done worked all week, I don't want to entertain XYZ, honor that decision that your body is giving you, that your mind is giving you, and really that your spirit is giving you, because it's letting you know, hey, listen, we might not be able to make it out this weekend, but we could make it out next weekend. Next weekend might be payday weekend, so your funds might change. Next weekend, you might feel better physically. Okay. So when we're putting up these boundaries, remember, they're not a hard cinder block wall. These are agreements that keep you in your peace. All right. So it says here underneath the self respect section, every boundary you set is an act of honoring yourself. And that is so true because you're respecting your own opinion, you're respecting your mindset and mind frame at that time. All right. So, quick little visualization, saying no without guilt. So, I want you guys to take a minute and just picture yourself delivering a confident, clear no to a request that doesn't serve you. So, this could be you envisioning you saying no to a colleague, a family member, a friend, you know, anybody that has made you feel a little, I call it the teeter totter effect. Really like, I'm not kind of feeling it, type of thing. And being honest with yourself and saying no in that moment. Because when you have that shift, you can feel it throughout your body, right? A lot of time, I'll be honest, I get more anxiety getting ready to tell someone no than actually saying the no. Because after I've said the no, it's like, okay, well, that's it. I have no, I have no more for you, right? But that anxiety leading up to it is a lot. So the reason that I want you guys to have take this moment and just visualize yourself saying this confident no is because I want you to understand that when you honor how you feel, your body responds to it. A lot of times when we don't say those no's, that's how we wind up with that tension in our neck, that pain in our lower back, an upset stomach, a headache, because our body is tense. So if you can today, think about you delivering that confident no to the person it's intended for and identify how that makes you feel. All right. So here at the bottom, it says embrace your emotional freedom. We're going to start swapping guilt out for relief, freedom, and perfect alignment with our values, right? Let's stop trying to fit ourselves in other people's boxes. This is not a one size fits all type of thing. All right. So I hope y'all have y'all pen and paper. It says 10 to 15 minutes here, but I'm not going to get that much time. We're going we're going to do about a solid 5 minutes. But take a moment and answer this journal reflection. Where have I struggled to set a boundary? And what fear sat under that? All right. So I'm going to go ahead and put my little timer on. And before Mama T says something, yes, it'll most likely sound theatrical. But yeah, so let me go ahead and make this a little bit smaller because I need to see the meeting. Let's stop this here. Hey everyone that's just joining us. Howdy y'all. All right.
Oh, wait. I was typing it in the chat. Where have I
Okay.
struggled to set boundaries?
All right. I'm gonna put my share back on, but right this second I was looking for the timer, but I don't see it. So let me go ahead and share my screen.
I just want to put it in the chat because I got
I got
can't remember stuff.
I got you.
I
Don't
put it
worry.
in the chat for everybody, but it's really for me. Okay, how to set A boundary. Set a boundary. You getting personal, ma'am.
Well, that's a mindset. Because really and truly, when you think about it, who's the first person that we lied to?
Ourselves.
That part. That part.
Okay, you can take it off now.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And just note, we are live on YouTube. So if you don't feel comfortable sharing it out loud, you can definitely drop it in the chat. So I just wanted to make note of that. Kim, I just read your comment in the chat. It said you made your sister a shirt that says I'm late because I didn't want to come.
She's notoriously late, like literally 2 hours, three
Oh,
hours. You could, if we do a potluck, she's not bringing anything but dessert or to go containers because she's not coming on time.
I love it. At least she honest and y'all all know.
Yeah, we are. Everybody knows.
Oh goodness. Too funny. Yeah, I told y'all I was gonna be dramatic. And I do thank y'all for participating in that. Um, so before I go over what's in the chat, would anyone like to share out loud, or you guys just want me to do the chat? All right. I see I see Nikki's face,
I I
which
can.
is beautiful, by the way. I'm so glad I'm seeing you today,
I
man.
know. I said the same thing.
I love it.
Okay, for me, it's my mother, or it's hard saying no to your mother. So my mother, or anybody that's close to me. So that would be my husband and my son. But they're different guilt reasons for them. So with my mother, is I don't want to disappoint her, and I get that people pleasing from her. I can clearly see where she overextends herself too often to too many people who do not appreciate the work that she does. Um, and I got that from her. But now I'm recognizing where I got it from. So it makes my no a little bit easier, because in the midst of doing something, you realize, why am I doing this? I don't want to do this. It's not serving me. It doesn't make me happy. So I try really hard, to pick and choose how I extend myself, because I don't. My time is valuable, and regardless of how much time I have left, I want to enjoy what I'm doing. So if it's something that I don't enjoy doing, then I really just don't want to do it. Um, Now, for my husband and my son, it's guilt because I'm pulled in so many directions that they always get the leftover pieces of me. So I feel, especially because neither one of them really ask for much, but when they do ask and I'm in the middle of something or it just doesn't fit in my schedule, I feel guilty if I have to push it off a little bit, because they always get the leftover pieces. And I'm working on making that better. But y'all know entrepreneurship is tough. Yes, it's hard trying to manage everything and still make sure that you honor those relationships that are close to you. So,
Absolutely. Nikki, you're muted.
muted.
Maybe it's a sign. No. Hi everyone. This is Nikki of Cool Things by Nikki, coming to you live from Midweek Mindset, actually on camera. Um, Being on camera right now is a boundary for me because is is going outside of one of my boundaries, because I'm so transparent in the conversations that I have. But as long as my camera is off, there's this anonymity. So that's random girl's voice, right? Um, and so for anyone to see this outside of this group who knows what I look like, um, this is a level of vulnerability that I'm unaccustomed to, but I am, if I have to be the face of my emotions and the the face that can build a community in their mind to say I'm not the only one, then I am willing to do that today. Yeah.
Good seeing your face. And I love that sexy shirt.
Right? Got the little cut on our thigh.
I'm loving it.
Don't you turn that camera off, man.
Don't
I
turn it.
forgot what I had on today. I was just throwing some clothes on. Man. Okay, fine. And
I love it. I love it. Well, I will definitely say this. It is wonderful seeing that beautiful face and smile of yours. And I hope it goes beyond just today. You know,
Yes.
I'm going to hopefully make sure of that a little bit. You ain't got to side on me, Nikki. I love you. But thank you for sharing that, because you know what, a lot of people, again, I want you guys to understand the things that we feel, we are definitely not by ourselves. And I will say for me personally, um before I really came even in front of the camera, when you talking about being anonymous, I would sit behind T while she was in these meetings. So I wasn't even nowhere near, okay, the camera. Um, but we have stories that people need to hear. And of course, associating a face with it helps it more relatable. Hey, sugar. It makes us a bit more relatable, right? So we might not necessarily feel comfortable um, speaking how we feel and things like that. And I get it. I get it. But always remember that your story, your journey is a testimony to someone else and also is a beacon of hope as well. All right. And then you put that pretty little smile with it. And then, I mean, you just got them all hook, line, and sinker. So it's all good. So I'm going to go ahead and read the chat really quick. So we have one comment that says, leaving people where they left me. However, I will decline their return. And I think that is so important. When we have that severance, it's for a reason a lot of times, right? It may not be in our understanding at the moment because, of course, we're human. We go through all the feels and the feelings and everything. But one thing that I know for a fact is God will remove what does not serve his purpose in your life, whether it be people, jobs, situations, things like that. So, using that discernment to leave it where it is powerful in itself, right? Another comment says, saying I cannot help when it is automatically expected of me, the Cinderella label. I'm learning to count to 10 before I answer and coming up with alternative solutions to stop being taken for granted. It's causing me issues of setting my boundaries, but I have to start taking care of me now because it has caused some situations that have triggered my health. And you know what? I am so glad that you are taking that time to do that count, right? And it's a calming practice. So a lot of times we do the knee jerk response, right? Somebody asks a question and it's automatic, like, yeah, sure. No, but taking that moment and be like, you know what? And T gets mad at me about this because I do this all the time. She'll go ahead and she'll run stuff off, run stuff off, run stuff off. And I'm taking it all in. And she's like, you don't have anything to say? I'm processing. I tell her all the time, this is not Chat GPT up here. I may be I may be able to type up a good prompt, but you know how it says thinking a little bit longer? I'm thinking a little bit longer of what my answer is going to look like, whether it be something that I have to do or whatever. Um, but sometimes I have to take that pause myself, right? And then it also mentions, not being treated as despair. And that's so true. So true. We are not despair. We are not leftovers or mangled pieces. We the whole tab. We the whole thing, right? So what I would say to that is as you continue to identify your worth to yourself, you'll start holding a higher regard for yourself. And that comes with saying the no's, taking those pauses when you need it before you answer, not feeling obligated to have to shout out an answer. This isn't the Price is Right with our life, right? It's not $1,200. It's either yes or no, or you know what? I need a moment. Let me think it over and I'll get back to you. And that's a good line to say if you don't want to give an immediate no. Hey, I received what you said. Let me take a moment, process it, and then I'll get back to you about it. And then that way, after you take that pause, you can say yes or no with that certainty. Nikki?
You all know that I'm a retired kindergarten, first grade teacher, right?
Mm-hmm.
And As I wrote my answer just now, I thought about what I taught my first graders and kindergartners when I would ask them a question, because the first thing they would do was throw their hands up in the air. And so I taught them this process that I needed to see. So they would have to show me that they heard the answer. They would have to show me that they thought about the answer. They would have to show me that they have come up with the answer and that they're confident with the answer, and then raise your hand. Because, and I'm watching them do it. And so I was that extra kindergarten teacher. So, um, there was, they were taking the steps,
Mhm.
and they were working on metacognition, even though they didn't know that that's what they were doing. But I had them pause. But the way I don't have a pause in me, um, but I'm working on it. Um, I'm working on it. I'm realizing that I need to treat myself as one of my kindergartners, and that comes with a lot more freedom and less rigid expectations on myself, and that in itself is setting a boundary against setting a boundary. So, yay! Okay, the end.
But you know what? I love that because, as you said, those pauses and watching your kindergartners process it are we just oversized kids that got bills. That's all adulting is. Because we don't
I
have.
need more toys though, please.
I could deal with some more toys too. But I mean, really and truly, there's no exact blueprint on how we're supposed to run our lives, how we're supposed to process things that happen. There's no given blueprint. But when you take those moments to pause and assess, and like Nikki said, to make sure you actually comprehended what was said or done or etc., then you can actually relay effectively, right? So I I like your method. Can you type that method up for me? Because I really do like that. Don't be surprised if you see it in the mindset. I'm just letting it be known now.
Okie dokie. I sure will.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. All right, guys. So let me go ahead, wrap up this uh, presentation, and we'll be good to go. So thank you all for sharing, most definitely. All righty. So you know that I can't do a mindset unless I give you guys a challenge. Um, and it's a pretty simple one. So first, when it comes to work, set a professional boundary around your time, your workload, or your communication hours. If you are one of those individuals, and I'm guilty as well, I've done this in the past where I actually, my end time is 5 p.m., but I'm still working and communicating up until 7, 8 o'clock at night. You need to cut that off because you need to honor your time, right? So, a professional boundary for me. So now, since I'm in an entrepreneur realm, I make sure, hey, listen, since I don't have a receptionist and all the things, I still make sure that, hey, listen, all formal communications, all the emails and everything, stop around 6. Now, if you pop in my inbox or something, my DMs or something like that, and you have a quick question, I may or may not relay it, but it's on my terms because there's sometimes where messages pop in and I see it and I'm like, I'm watching a movie right now. I'm not answering an email. Or I'm dealing with, my little ones. Mm-mm. So I have to make sure that I set my time properly. And Kim, when you were mentioning with your husband and your son and sometimes feeling like they're getting the leftovers and the scraps, I definitely can relate to that as well, because we do so much and we're doing all these things that sometimes we are actually not spending um, that time that we really want with the people that we want, because we're obligated to so many other just stuff, right? So that's for work. For family, the challenge is create a space around a recurring family dynamic or conversation topic. So this is basically saying, hey, be initial with your time. You know, when it comes to your family, make sure you create that space, whether it is just to have a conversation or whether it's just to have dinner, or but make sure you're creating a designated time and designated space to spend your time with the people you care about and love the most, right? And then for friendships, so protect your energy in social situations or recurring friend patterns. So again, if you notice that there's an individual around you that kind of makes you feel drained and all the things that we were talking about earlier, you know, you may just have to put up a boundary. If you still want to entertain this person, you entertain them on your terms and you design what that looks like. If you know that this particular person, I don't know, might get carried away with a certain type of social environment, then go to a different one. Just make sure that it's because you want to do it and not because you feel obligated to do it. All right. And then you can practice it out. So, with some of these conversations, script it out, say it out loud, practice them in a mirror, you know, jot it down in a journal, how you feel afterwards, how you feel after you place these boundaries up. All right. And I want you guys to be present with the discomfort that comes with it, because it's going to feel uncomfortable. Anything that you change or grow, it's going to feel uncomfortable. But look at that other side of the relief that will follow. All right. So that is my challenge for you guys this week. And then next, we are going to talk about language templates. So sometimes we get a little mixed up with the words or what to actually say when it comes to limiting access to us. So these are just some examples that you guys can use. So the first is for work. You know, I'm at capacity right now and can't take this on. Here's a realistic timeline for when I could address it. Again, remember, that's pretty much along the lines of what I was saying earlier. Hey, give me a minute to process, and then I can get back to you. All right. Here, she's letting them know up front, hey, listen, my workload is full right now, so I can't take on another project. You have to make what's going on with you clear and say it out loud so people can understand it. All right. Next is your family boundaries. So I love you deeply, and I won't be discussing this topic anymore. Let's focus on what brings us together. Okay. Because let's be honest, sometimes when it comes to families, we can sit and rehash and rehash and rehash certain topics, situations. And it comes to a point in time where it's like, okay, we're going around in circles. Nothing else is improving. Nothing else is evolving from this. We're officially going to table this now. I'm not entertaining it anymore. I don't want to discuss it anymore. Instead, let's talk about how we can get closer together, how we can connect, or whatever solution is needed for that particular conversation. All right. Lastly, we have friend boundaries. So I'm choosing to skip tonight to rest and recharge. Let's plan for something next week when I can be fully present. Like Kim mentioned earlier, with her mom, she says, hey, listen, my mom had something she wanted me to do. I wasn't able to do it because of my own personal reasons. So let's try it again at a later date. Same principles here. Okay. It's okay for you to say, no, not right now. Alrighty. So after we implement those boundaries, after the anxiety and all the things hit, we have to come back to center. So a quick little practice is taking a pause and 3 deep breaths to just ground yourself again. to be present with yourself. Secondly, reaffirm your why. So remember, there's always a deeper reason behind you setting up that boundary, of you making that intentional decision of not entertaining or holding space for something any longer. All right. And then three, repeat. So if needed, calmly restate your boundary without over explaining. Okay. So it's basically around those lines of, and Dean likes to tease me about this. I said what I said. You know, you sometimes you might have to get the mama voice on it, but you said what you said. Respect what you're saying, and they'll respect how they receive it. All right. So guilt is a habit. Peace is a decision. When we're putting up these boundaries, when we are saying, hey, listen, you're getting a limited edition, it's because you are keeping your peace, keeping your mind right, protecting the version of you that you need to. All right. So it also says here, every time you honor a boundary, you're investing in the woman you're becoming. And that right there is powerful. All right. So a community spotlight. I know Kim always she gives this part to me with the journals, but I put it in a presentation today. um, but for more conversations and even access to this replay for Midweek Mindset, you can definitely join me, T Weaver, and Kim, of course, Nikki and Linda, and a whole bunch of others, and Kristen Dion, over on Timeless Vision, where we are a woman organized community that talks about these topics and subjects and a little bit more. So from our support to, you know, challenges, information and resources, Timeless Vision is a school community that is here for you. All right. And really quick, I will let Kim go ahead and show her journal before I discuss Saturday's class. So, Maya, it's all yours.
Oh, please. I'm going to put it in the chat.
And thank you for dropping that in the chat, Nikki.
You're welcome.
Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, this week's journal. Owning your worth around unworthy people. Setting boundaries without guilt. Welcome page. An affirmation I release. The people drain me, and I welcome only those who honor my light. A goal action list for the week. Day 1, the power of no. Day 2, releasing the guilt. Day 3, non-negotiables. Day 4, energy audit. Day 5, permission to rest, sorry. Day 6, protecting peace. Day 7, boundary wins. And then your worth is not tied to anyone's opinion. It's your birthright. A couple of journal sheets. And then Michelle talked about the communities that I recommend that are in there.
You got a community, ma'am, that you need to recommend. Mm-hmm. See, that's why I put it in my presentation today.
I do. I have a school community called the Josie May Sister Circle. It is where faith fuels focus, healing sparks growth, and creativity builds unstoppable confidence. So it's a mix of mindset, really working on creating a sisterhood where we build together, grow together, and work together, because it's hard out here in these streets.
Yes.
And the one thing that, I think that we need is community. So I'm working on building a community of like-minded women. So yay.
Drop that link. Drop that link.
um, um, and I have I'm doing a virtual, I'll talk about that next week because it's not until October. But my Purpose and Power sessions that I was doing in person in Chicago, I'm going to be doing those virtually going forward. So the first one will be October, I think 2nd, whatever the first Thursday in October is.
Yep, the 2nd. Mm-hmm.
Yep, so I'm working on that.
That will be my 53rd birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
It's funny, me and you made the same. That's wonderful.
63. Did you say 63?
She said, "Don't do me." I read that just as clear as that.
53, 53, 53.
Oh, 50. That's all right. Okay. Okay. I'm like, I know I didn't hear that right. But you do not look 53. No, ma'am.
No, me.
Nope.
Not at all. Not at all. All right. So, really quick, before we head out, I just wanted to share my screen one more time because I have one more announcement for you guys. So, on Saturday, this Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Mama T, as y'all so lovingly have called her. I love that name. It's so funny. She and I will be doing a Jason Code masterclass. All right. So she has held classes part 1 and part 2 prior. And no worries if you weren't in attendance for them, that's perfectly fine because she's going to break this all the way down and bring it home. She has been creating generators in different platforms that have really personally have blown my mind. She surprises me every time she comes out. So if you want to learn how to build a prompt power generator for your business, or even as a product, this class is definitely for you. This is the website here, shop at beacons/Harmony Divine Design. I'll also drop the link on YouTube as well as in the Zoom. But it's $125 because, again, remember, this is a masterclass and me and T will both be doing our tag team duo with this class. So I'm super excited. I know she's going to blow my mind. So I can't wait to see what she has in store. So that is what I wanted to put. And T, go ahead.
I just wanted to ask Miss Kim because I shared a generator with her. How was that generator for mindset?
It was really good. Really, really good. I did a one-on-one with Miss T because I was not clicking with these generators. I'm a bright girl, but for some reason it just was not clicking. And that one-on-one was amazing. And so T shared, one of her generators, and that one was amazing too. I said, I would just love to set up space in T's brain because the way that her brain works and her creativity, it is amazing. It is amazing. So literally she was able to help me with, a generator that I was working on like instantly and figured out what was wrong with it and made it better than what I was working on. So by all means, y'all need to take that class.
Thank you, Miss Kim.
It was really, really enlightening. Really enlightening. Yeah. Literally within minutes. She was like, oh, this is what you need to do. I'm like, dang.
Yeah, she gets me like that all the time.
But here's the thing. To me, my time is valuable. Now I probably could have tinkered through and kept, may have taken me 3 weeks to figure it out. But I did a one-on-one with her, and in less than an hour, I had not only the one that I was working on, she gave me ideas to do some other ones. So, and the steps exactly what I needed to do. So it was well worth the money. So if you can't make this class and you want to do a one-on-one, I highly recommend either one. So I'm just saying, it was well worth it. It was worth it.
I
So.
love it.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, guys. So that pretty much wraps up for today. But coming up next week, we are going to be talking about thriving despite the noise. All right. There's a lot of distractions, a lot of things that can take us off course. But no matter what, we always have to remain focused on what our overall goal is. All right. So that is it. That is all that I have for you guys today. So let me go ahead and stop my share. Any questions or comments before we close out? Nope. All right. So for those over in YouTube, I thank you so much for your time this afternoon, spending it with us. Definitely hope you guys gained something valuable. And yeah.
Nikki has a comment.
Oh, I'm sorry. Nikki? I have a comment for
He
okay.
skipped that whole part that said before we get off.
I am so sorry.
I'm sorry about Kim. I'm like, I mean, before you close the Zoom.
No problem. All
Oh,
right.
okay. So I'm like, wait a minute.
Thank you for being so accommodating.
I love it. All right, YouTube. Well, we're going to go ahead and finish cutting up over here in this Zoom, but we thank you so very much for joining us this afternoon. Definitely hope it added value to your day. And with your journey, knowing that you are valuable and you are precious and you are worthy of living the life in which you see for you. So, Kim?
Thank the code is saying it's not valid. The code is showing up as caps. Yeah, it should be all caps. Hang on, let me look at it real quick. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We hope that something was said. I'm sure something was said to help you along your journey. I can't multitask, but I'm trying.
Well, Kim is looking for the code, so
Yeah, it's mindset all caps. Mindset all caps.